Good morning. My name is Carmen Reyes. I'm going to call this meeting to order. It is 11:38, and we are at the Laredo Health Clinic on Cedar. We call this Laredo West County Drug and Alcohol Commission meeting to order. Everybody should have a red folder that Tiffany's actually created for us. Brianna, just walk in, and your folder is in the back. There's food also if anybody wants to grab lunch. We kindly appreciate you all coming in. We've had a better turnout today as opposed to our afternoon meetings. So we may have to consider that this might be the time that we will be able to meet. It will be a little bit rushed because we know that you're all during your lunchtime. So we want to be able to come in and be able to get in and get out, right? And so for the record, Tiffany has just started a couple of months ago with us. But we're going to go ahead and do a roll call. So I'll start off with me calling the ladies present.
Jessica Hernandez, present.
Marina Moreno, present.
Brianna Sainz, present. Ana Guerrero, present. Veronica Jimenez, present.
Nancy Cadena, present.
Mara Mendez, present.
Margarita Garza, present.
Gerardo Montemayor, present. Guillermo Walsh, present.
Tiffany Vargas, present. Thank you. We don't have any public comments, do we? No public comments. We're going to go ahead and go straight to the approval of minutes of September 1st, 2021. Please be kind. I was writing the minutes and I actually have a couple of things that are missing. So on the absent, we're going to go back and we're going to go ahead and fill in whoever was absent. But if you were present, make sure that your name is there. And anything else is pretty much generic. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
First by Mara. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Margarita. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Minutes approved. As recommended. We're moving on to administrator's report. This is added from the last meeting where we're going to allow Mr. Walls to be able to give us an update on what's going on his end. I know last time we were talking about the Texas Open Act, and I hope that some of you all have submitted it. For the record, Ms. Linda Mendiola from OSAR had said that she had sent in her email with her certificate, and she couldn't be here today, so she apologizes, but just to...
Certificates from the membership, so that's coming in. Please, if you have a chance, take that training and just send the certificate in so we can have everybody. It's one of those things where it's highly encouraged, required for us to all have it. It's not going to break the committee apart if you don't, but there's really no reason for us not to have everybody take that. In the last city council meeting, let me check my notes. In the last city council meeting, it was discussed and approved that we can still have a half in person, or we can have a half in person, half virtual meeting. The only caveat is we have to have 5 board members present in person. I don't know if that would make anything easier or challenging, but you know, for the next meeting, if you guys, when you all get that email from Tiffany saying this will be the meeting, you know, just please respond to her so we know who's showing up. So if somebody has a couple of meetings and they want to do 2 virtuals at the same time, or you know, they can't show up, or whatever the case is, we can still proceed as a committee.
So as of right now, for those that are here, are you all able to make a lunch meeting for sure? Like definitely.
For sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay.
I'm okay at any time.
Okay, so then we'll just have to reach out to those who weren't present to find out if they can't make it. If they can't make it, then we'll make that exception to include the virtual option. But we are definitely counting with you all that are here present so that we make sure that we have the 5 to go virtual.
Right.
Otherwise, then we become a little bit spoiled and think that everybody's going to come in and then we have that virtual option. I think the virtual option should be as a secondary, but definitely try to meet in person, because I think in person we do more, and we definitely need to do more within this committee, because it's an important mission.
And keep in mind, please, with time, tell us, because that virtual option, as it is more convenient for the members, it is very inconvenient for myself and Tiffany because we have to figure out how to do the virtual option. Because that thing is recording, we would probably need another camera in here to do the virtual, right?
Okay.
Can we get a computer?
Yeah,
We
so-
could do like a Zoom.
Yeah, it would get a little crazy, and then because it's a actual open meeting, we would have to have some form to have the Zoom come out on that at the same time live, so it would be, okay, it would be, a little
Tedious.
housekeeping, tedious, event for,
So as of right now, since we've done a little bit more of attendance than we most other meetings, I think we'll keep it to this time and we'll monitor it. And if we start kind of decreasing or numbers with COVID start changing or something or other changes, then we'll have that virtual option as an alternative, but not an ongoing thing right now.
No, I have a suggestion, and again, with Tiffany, we have the phone list with everybody. I would suggest at least for the next meeting, call everybody, because some people may have changed their emails, they may have done differently. I think if you call everybody and let them know, what time the meeting is, and make sure you have the email right. You already know the people here, we have the email right. But you can call the other people, because there's a lot of people that used to come, I don't even see. And so maybe it'd be worth the effort to call them,
okay.
let them know, make sure you have the emails right, and see what they can do.
We'll do that for the next meeting for sure.
Okay.
Any other updates? Okay, moving on to our discussion and possible action on membership. As we've just discussed, our review of meeting and time and day had slightly changed. Ms. Nancy had done a survey and she surveyed everyone who's on that email list to see and verify what worked better. And so this day, Wednesday, works better than most days. It's, I think, Tuesday and Wednesday at 11:30 for lunch is what works. I know that there was the only conflict is that Ms. Marta Hernandez with the Face Coalition, they currently hold their meeting at this time, but she wanted to participate. But other than that, I think Ms. Alonso had mentioned that this time would not be a better time. Lunchtime is not a good time for her, so we'll try to see what we can do. But whenever we send out surveys, please make sure, because we want to make sure that you're included in those, because we definitely need you to be a part of our commission. So, and then that's something that we stressed out the last time, the attendance and the participation. If we know that we're fully committed, and if you know that you are not going to be able to be fully committed, then we ask you to kindly step down to allow somebody else to come in and to be able to participate. With that in mind, the Texas Open Meeting Act and training and certification is necessary for our membership. And so Mr. Walls had sent out that reminder. For those of you who haven't taken it, please make sure that you take it, which brings us down to the nomination of the co-chair and secretary. Last meeting we discussed that it was Mr. Walls, and last meeting I actually did the minutes, but we are needing a secretary for our commission to write down our minutes, to just be brief and kind of summarize the meeting that we had, and it's open to anybody who is a member. So if you are interested, please let us know, because we definitely need that role, as well as co-chair. We had moved the meeting. Did we move the meeting? No, I'm talking about another meeting. So I may be out however, because of work or whatever the case may be. So a co-chair is definitely needed, so that they're able to run the meetings and to be able to guide you all. So if there is anybody who wants to be nominated, please let us know. Do we want to do it publicly, or do we want to do it? Does anybody want to take the role as secretary or co-chair? Want to be considered?
I have horrible handwriting.
I know the pressure is on. I know we've discussed it a couple of times, and we kind of said, let us know by email, but I don't know if anybody is interested. You can frankly just say, I can't because work is too much and I can't take on the role. We'll definitely understand, but it is needed as part of our...
Agreed, yes. I'm not a board member, but I know that Nancy did an excellent job on that survey, and I think she would make an excellent secretary. But if she's too busy...
Thank you.
And then I was gonna mention you, but yeah, I just left it alone.
I was too, but I stayed quiet. But you got me then, so I didn't say anything.
So Nancy, is anybody else interested in having to take that role as secretary? Okay, do we have a motion on the table to nominate Miss Nancy? Do I have a first? A first by Jesse, a second by Mr. Montemayor. All in favor of voting Nancy as our secretary, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
She's a trooper.
Ms. Nancy's our secretary, and we'll definitely have the support of both Tiffany and Mr. Walls and I. I write a couple of minutes, and then the videos will be recorded, and, you know, it's brief transcription, so it's not very detailed or anything like that, it's just key points. For our co-chair, is anybody interested in being nominated, or is there any nominations on the table?
I believe one time in the past, when after you were nominated, I proposed Marina, because I thought there had to be someone out there in the community with grassroots, that's doing the grassroots stuff. And so I believe, if you go back to records, I may have proposed Marina at one time. And I am proposing it as well.
Okay, great. Is there any?
Congratulations, honey.
So I have a first by Jesse, do I have a second?
I don't think it was really surprised. I mentioned it before.
I have a second by Mr. Montemayor.
Congratulations.
All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. Marina is our co-chair. Congratulations.
Excellent choice.
Okay, moving on to our workers report. Last meeting, it's unfortunate that Ms. Alonso can't join us today because she was asking a little bit more about the status update as to what the Big Talks facility was doing, how we were doing, what's going on, and whatnot. And so today we're going to actually review the presentation of what's going on. And I think Mara had some information, Mr. Montemayor and Mr. Wall, so I don't know where you all want to start, but we'll make sure that it's recorded and that she gets that update, and if she has any questions, we'll follow up at the next meeting.
So on the county's end, we are out for contractors. We already have the planning and the specs. We will close, I believe, on October the 14th, and then we'll have a commissioner's court to decide who will be the contractor, and then we can start building from there. But up until now, we're set for October the 14th to review who solicits bids for the contractors. So we're out for RFPs. And that's where my report is.
Okay.
On the city's end, of course, you all know that we started this process a long time ago, and the city has hired a consulting firm to help us with the application process. We're at the point where we're on hold until the facility is completely renovated, and then the consulting firm can actually come visit Laredo, check out what's going on, and, you know, we can take it from there. So, you know, we're excited for this, for October, so we can find out who the contractor is and everybody can get going on that. And, looks like we have some pictures.
Yes, these were the original, the ones I had done to see way back, the
Yeah.
ones that we turned in to the architects. And somebody mentioned at the last meeting that they wanted to see something, that's the reason I brought it.
Yeah, she's not able to.
Yeah, Ms. Alonso.
If you want to, I can just pass it around to anybody that might have not seen it. This is kind of, everything in color is the detox. The other part in front is already the judge's probation.
That's where I'm at.
Okay.
I'm now the jail on the other side with my high school.
Yeah, so do I. All the years it was doing probation. I do have something interesting, and I don't know if anyone can comment. I was talking to Luis Flores about 2 weeks ago, and maybe you can feel free to comment.
Okay.
From what I understand, they received accreditation.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about, because look, the reality is there's no other providers here. And SCAN has shown up all the time, and now they have accreditation. Which one do you have, CARP, or which one did you all
It's the
get?
one that also Gateway and the hospitals have.
Okay, yeah, well, all of them are hospital. In other words, they're accredited now through the Organization for Hospitals. There are 2 different accreditations. And so they got accredited about a month ago. So in other words, we need someone that's accredited to be able to run, you don't need to be accredited to run a detox program, but you know what? For purposes of liability and everything else, it's better to have someone like that. And so, I just wanted to point out that SCAN is always at the table. SCAN is doing all these things. I was just having this discussion with Luis a couple of weeks ago, not about us, but I was just saying, he was telling me about the accreditation. I said, wow, that's impressive. Because to get accredited, that's a major step. And I think there's going to be a point in time when we're going to go out for RFPs for funding for agencies that is going to run the place. And I just make it very clear. The only ones that I ever see here are SCAN on a pretty regular basis. They don't miss. They're involved in it, and now they're accredited. And I wanted to put that on the record because that's a huge thing. And congratulations to SCAN. I think that's wonderful.
Yes, and I want to mention that I know last time media mentioned some funding that was awarded to SCAN, and we were just recently awarded $5.9 million in federal funding, and these funds will be for Familias Unidas, Families United program, and it will be substance abuse and mental health services, and it will help families with trauma-informed, evidence-based, coordinated, and integrated outpatient services here for teenagers 12 and young adults up to 25. And it'll be a 5-year grant, and that one will be for $2.7 million. And then we have another one that is South Texas Medication-Assisted Treatment Enhancement and Recovery Project. And this program will help increase treatment capacity for adults with opioid use disorder in Webb County, and participants will be provided with medication-assisted treatment using evidence-based treatment. It'll be for 5 years, $2.6 million. And we have another one that is the Webb County Mental Health Awareness Training Project. And this program will provide evidence-based mental health awareness training that includes the recognition of signs and symptoms of mental health illness, and it'll be for 5 years as well, and it'll be $625,000. And I wanted to mention that SCAN just hired a medical director. It is Dr. Arturo Garza Góngora, and we will have some nurse practitioners as well.
Good. Now, Dr. Garza Góngora, he is the physician in charge of providing medication-assisted treatment to the drug court.
Correct.
So Maria and I know him very well, and he's very well acquainted and aware of about how Vivitrol works. And we talk about Vivitrol as one of the medications that would be used so that we don't send the heroin addicts out after a stay to die. And we talked about that long time ago. And so that's already another thing. I'm just asking Luis right now, is it JACO or CAR? But those are very good movements because you all are doing this for the community. It's wonderful. You've always done wonderful with that. But here is another person that has been involved in substance use treatment, right at Duro, Dr. Garza Gomura. And he's very well acquainted with what we do at the drug court. We got 25% of our population in the drug court are heroin addicts, and we're going to be receiving a lot of those. And Vivitrol works well with heroin addicts and alcoholics. And so he's already got it very well aware of it, and they have them. SCAN has them. That's already another plus. And obviously we can't make any decision. I'm just saying, wow, this is just really interesting that this is lining up right now.
I just have a question with your MAT program.
Yes.
What is your eligibility criteria?
I would not be able to answer that because I'm not in treatment, I'm in the prevention side,
Okay.
but I can get back to you on it.
Yes, that'd be great.
Uh,
Thank you.
Okay, so I just, Luis just texted me, and he said it's JCO, the Joint Commission on Accreditation for Hospitals. So that's a big one. And so congratulations, let Luis Isel know, congratulations. I had already told Luis about that. That's a huge accomplishment. So congratulations on SCAN.
Is there any other feedback for the facility? Did everybody see the? Okay. And I know Ms. Veronica has a lot more news to come up, so we're gonna move on to stakeholder agency updates. So, I know that they had the Webb County Drug Coalition meeting yesterday, and they had a lot of great information on top of announcing those grant funds that she just mentioned. So do you want to continue to add on to Red Ribbon Week and all the other activities that you have going on?
Yes, like Colleen mentioned, we had our meeting yesterday. We're still having virtual meetings. There was, I think over 50 different agencies that participated, different individuals. And we're going to have a lot of different presentations around the community, including in the community centers, TAMU, the high schools, middle schools, presentations with parents, through the community, different things that we have going on for October. We have a simulator that we have. It's CWI simulator that we have had for the past 2 years. It's borrowed, but we have it, and we've been going around the community to try to engage with the teenagers, even with the TAMU students, because not everyone in TAMU is 21 years of age, right? So you all heard of the recent incident, the accident that a teenager passed away because drinking and driving. So I have heard, but so we've been trying to raise awareness. So we're taking the simulator, and it's like a monitor, like a TV type, and it has the steering wheel and the pedals, and the kids are seeing, how they wear the goggles, and you can see very clearly, like if you were drunk, right? So the kids are seeing that, it's very hard to be able to drive if you're under the influence, and it's been very popular in the community. So we're trying to raise awareness on this, and we're also trying to raise awareness on other drugs as well. So we're coordinating with Warren High School on the 20th. We're having the kickoff for Red Ribbon, and it's going to be a little bit smaller because of COVID, right? So we're having anywhere from 50 to 100 students in the gym, and we're gonna invite the mayor to read the proclamation. We're gonna invite the DEA to say a few words about the meaning of Red Ribbon, like we always do. And then at the end, at the beginning, it's gonna be like the proclamation and the little parade, and then we release some balloons in honor of the officers locally that have died in the line of duty. And then hopefully we can have the media there as well, so they can, inform the community what we're doing. And also, we're hoping that LISD is able to record this, and they could, show it to the other schools as well. In the past, we used to have a really big parade at the Civic Center, but then they had all this. Yeah, I remember that LISD bought the Civic Center, So they've been doing remodeling for a while now, but I was just informed, yesterday that hopefully for next year, the Civic Center will be ready, so we can have something there again. So we're excited about that. But, you know, the whole month of October, we are gonna be very busy doing a lot of presentations out there in the community. And as always, we always use the media a lot to send a message out to the parents especially, because I've heard a lot of the kids, from the counselors, that the kids are vaping a lot in the schools, inside the schools and things like that. So, they're having a lot of trouble also, like with the TikToks and all that. So, we're trying to, you know, be out there and inform the kids, you know, that, of the consequences of substance use.
That accident was so tragic. I had that week quite a number of young people that I work with that were talking about that and just dealing with their own shock, because many of them, the ones I work with, go to those parties. You know, and so it was shocking. Some of them, some of the clients that I did talk to had known of those people, they knew those people, so it was very, very sad. You know, so I'm glad that you got to do what you did.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your report, Ms. Veronica.
Thank you, Beto.
I know that I definitely want to collaborate with you with Laredo Crime Stoppers, because I did have a meeting with the deputy superintendent last week, and we discussed at UASD, Ms. Gloria Rendon, and we discussed some of the issues that they have at the schools where we do have campus Crime Stoppers, and we are wanting to ensure that they are aware that if they are vaping, that they're not supposed to, and that they can report it. There's money involved, we tell them. And so we are going to create some PSAs, and I'd love to collaborate with SCAN so that we can get that message out there. And I'll definitely be in touch with you on that.
Of course.
I want to, Ms. Anna, do you have any updates?
I don't have any updates.
Okay, I know that you were the only one that sent in the photo, so I do want to say an appreciation on that. We were able to put the city's information on our Facebook with your information, so we definitely appreciate you for doing that. Do we have any other stakeholders in place? No. Okay. So we'll go back to the work groups and start a little bit of more discussion, because I know we still have a little bit of time. We're going really fast here. So we at one point it was myself, Brianna, Mara, Ms. Quintanilla. At that point, do we want to meet virtually or in person to start discussing? I know Ms. Veronica can definitely be a part of this. Ms. Hernandez, Ms. Marta Hernandez can be a part of it. Marina can also be a part of it. Anybody who has any information on prevention outreach and education can definitely be a part of it. We want to start discussing when we should be meeting to put out that information into the community. Do y'all want to discuss? Do you want to do it virtually? Do y'all want to do it in person? One time out of the month?
I can do virtually,
Okay. What time works best?
anytime, except after 5.
Except after 5?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How about you, Brianna?
Anytime, except after 5 as well.
Okay. Okay, so I'll come up with a date, maybe, I think maybe, the first Tuesday after the Webb County Community Coalition meeting, and that way, we discuss some of the things that were either discussed or that we can include, and then it gives us an idea to jump into our meeting the following day and bring up some of those things that were discussed. Okay. For the next work group, we have the intervention, treatment, and rehabilitation work group. When would you all like to meet, or who would like to lead that one?
What was that?
The intervention, give me a second. The intervention, treatment, and rehabilitation.
That's not the detox and residential, right? That's
No.
I do remember that SCAN was involved in that one. I think it was Kike that was involved in it.
Let me go back to- We also have the detox, transitional support, Did you all come up with a?
Yes,
A Monday?
as a matter of fact, Anna, I just sent you the same text I sent Gerardo. So we'll meet on Monday at 4 o'clock for my doxy meet. And I sent you the link, you just link on it, and we'll meet from 4 to 5. And then if that works good, we'll just kind of keep that, every other week or however we want to do it.
Okay. Then we also have the mental health support group that Jesse had suggested, and we feel that you might have to lead that one as well.
Yeah, so I just need people that want to do the mental health, and I'll be happy. Gerardo? Okay, anyone else? No, because the reality is that we're going to be dealing with people that have co-occurring psychiatric substance use disorders. And so mental health is imperative. We can't just focus on substance use. So
On the top of the list.
yes, yeah, you treat them concurrently and aggressively. I don't know if I ever got to do the little training on that because that's when COVID hit. So I was scheduled to do training. I don't remember if I ever did, but I'll be happy to do that. Anyone else?
Jesse, you can put me under the detox transitional and the mental health support as well.
Okay,
Just
then
send me
good.
the schedule.
So I'll just remind you.
Usually we have stockings at 2,
I
we're
know.
done by 3:30 Mondays.
Yeah, so I'll remind you.
Tuesday's court though is like 2 to 4, just depends on how many clients we have present
Yeah.
at court.
Monday is my best day, always, because that was the day I would dedicate to you guys and the Veterans Court. So Monday at 4.
Okay.
Just I'll send you my Doxy link in a minute, and then we can all. See all the same people, and I really need. It would be nice to have another LPC, and that's why I'm suggesting you also join in because you're experienced in dealing with co-occurring disorders.
Is Spinner still a stakeholder?
That's a deal, they are.
Do you have LPC that they could probably?
I know that, but the thing is they are, but they haven't been here. And Westcare comes here occasionally, and they're a stakeholder, but they do something different than Scan and Pillar does, who are licensed. And now you have someone like Scan who's not only licensed, but is accredited by JACO. So, I think I've only seen it, to be quite honest, at one meeting.
I'll reach out to Pillar.
Well,
Oh.
I talk to Pillar all the time.
Okay.
I've reached out to them.
And they.
I've told them.
Oh, wow.
I've told them
I thought
twice.
they were not included in the email.
No. I've talked to Manny and Arturo. I said, you gotta go to those meetings. I explained to them, you have to send someone there because they said, well, you're our consultant. I said, no, but I can't be in this situation. I'm not. Someone has to go. And so I've talked to them many times. It's not just once, twice.
So then,
And I know it's being fake, but it's the truth. And I will talk to Manny and do it again. I'll say, you are missing out on some very important things, and the community needs your help because they do have a lot of LPCs. And I know that they're working on projects with the county. That they're interested in working on projects. I wrote a grant for the county for them this summer. So I know that they're doing that. So I will ask them again. I'm in contact with them a couple of times a week. They need to be here. I agree with that.
Yeah, and going back on the work group too, we had Mara, Nancy, Ms. Stillman, Gabriela from SCAN, Kike from SCAN, and Ms. Catherine from Border Region. So we definitely should reach out to all of our stakeholders. I think at one point we did have a long list of stakeholders, but I think with virtual meetings and in person and COVID, people may have changed jobs or not been aware of our changes. So we'll definitely reach out to Pillar and to AMA, and I know Westcare. Marta Hernandez wants to be very involved. She's new to the position, but she does have a meeting on Tuesday at this time. So she may not be able to participate unless we consider another day, and then it's more feasible for all of our stakeholders to be present. But we'll discuss that. So when do you all wanna meet for the mental health, group, Jesse?
Since all of us are in the same group, we will decide that on Monday.
Okay,
And that one, just,
or discuss it 2 and 1 during that time as
yeah,
well.
we could work it out.
Okay, got it. Now we have the transition and aftercare work group. On that work group, we had previously had Ms. Argendi, Ms. Mara, Gabriela Quique, Clara from SCAN, Ms. Carrillo from Webb County, Catherine from Border Region. And that one was the transition and aftercare. I guess what we'll do is we'll reach out again to Miss Veronica. Do we know if Kike and then we'll be still able to participate in some of these work groups, or?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I can, get Clara I'll talk to Clara this afternoon.
Okay, please, just.
She's part of the group, right, too?
Yeah, we had Gabriela, Enrique, and Clara.
Okay.
That way maybe, we'd love one of our commission members to actually be a part of it, so we'll see if,
I'll ask about that.
maybe Miss Marina can take that role and lead that group. Or anybody that may be, interested in having to do that. But, that way we have work group reports, and then so at the next meeting that we're able to discuss, all of our work groups, that we're able to present some information, to have a little bit more discussion and maybe, strike interest in something and then kind of lead to something else and allow us to work a little bit more on it. So, we'll definitely, do that. Moving on to, our next item, announcements. Are there any announcements from anybody that you all would like to share with us?
For Red Ribbon, I already have schedules to go and speak at Lara, of course, with Ms. Hernandez. Martin High School, Cigarroa, I just contacted Nixon, and they said they love to have a presentation. And also, I have Memorial Durham Middle School, but the kids are already into vaping and all of that, so they want for me to go in and speak to them.
Okay, that's wonderful news to know that you're gonna be doing presentations. Thank you so much for that. And I'm sure that if anybody else in the community needs a presentation, Ms. Marina or Ms. Veronica can actually provide that, presentation, so thank you for that. Do you have any other announcements?
Yes, we have the DEA take back pill. Let me check the date. It's on, October 23rd, and it's going to be from, 10 to 2, and there's 3 locations. There's, the Loreto College, the one in the south, and there's going to be, the one from, Del Mar, the Fire Department Administration, Del Mar, across from St. Patrick's Church, and also KGNS is another location. So there's 3, and there's one in Zapata, in the Zapata Courthouse. The reason I mentioned Zapata is because it's part of the Laredo sector from the DEA. And you can take any kind of medication. It can be over the counter or prescribed. Just the only thing that they don't accept is needles, because the agents can get poked, right? But anything else they will accept. And I'll go ahead and share the flyer with Colleen, and she can send it to everyone so people can go ahead and take the medication. There's no questions asked. We've collected so much over the years. It's been more than 10 years that we've participated with them and helping them out to spread the word, and doing a lot of media coverage and helping with newspaper articles and stuff to get the community to know that that it's very important for them to dispose of their medication, because sometimes people have so much medication at home. It's just ridiculous how much we have, and people don't think about that they expire. They think that they last forever because they don't have. Sometimes when you go to the pharmacy, it doesn't have the date where it expires. But we're slowly but surely raising awareness on this issue, and people are coming together and they're disposing of their medication.
I do want to talk about something and tout a program that sometimes we don't even really think about. And so, you know, at the end of the fiscal year, I start with the different programs that I evaluate, gathering numbers. And yesterday, I sent Judge Tijerina and Margarita an email about the numbers for the drug court. The reason why I mentioned the drug court is because we have so many heroin addicts and severe alcoholics that could use that detox. And we have to ship them out of town. And so this is going to be very important, and I can imagine how easily our program gets full. But just to give you an idea, the intake coverage rate for FY21 was a 96.5%. You know, that's amazing. So in other words, you know, if you have a target of 100, 96.5%, that's how many clients were admitted into the program. Well over 80 clients. Next year is going to target is like 95. But they did a wonderful job considering that the numbers had gone down because of the pandemic. Marita, since she became director, brought it up by at least 10%, a little bit more than 10 percentage points, just since April. And the follow-up rate was also very important. The follow-up rate was 94.7. That's when we follow up with the clients. And what's really impressive, because part of the program, when we do follow-ups, we want to make sure the federal government wants to make sure the program is working. The program had an 86.5 abstinence rate, and there was no recidivism. None of the clients in the drug court were rearrested. So the drug court program is doing an amazing job. Case managers, the counselors are from Pillar. You know, the probation officers, the ADA, the public defender. Marita is leading a wonderful team. And I think that this is really important because the linkage between what this program, even when I was envisioning it, I was saying we need to link this because we have been sending so many people out of town in the drug court program where, you know, we get phase one, this triage detox, then, you know, we're gonna fill it up pretty quickly. I mean, you know, Marita, you know that. Mm-hmm. And then we can move on to phase two because we're sending so many people out of town to get help. It doesn't make sense. Right? So congratulations, Marita, and you know, Marita, you can let the judge know.
Yeah, he saw the
you know,
email.
he saw the email. Yeah, it was a wonderful. Yeah, it was a wonderful reply. But
Mm-hmm.
I just, you know, he already knows about that. He did reply. But you know, just it's a wonderful job you guys do. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Definitely congratulations and excellent work because those numbers are very impressive. The fact that they're not going back to court or getting back to their old ways and that there is a follow-up. I love the fact that you have numbers for follow-up because I think that's very important to have. Statistics are very important. So congratulations, Margarita, for all your hard work. You've been missing in action for a reason.
I know.
so you're forgiven. With that said, Margarita, do you have any announcements that you want to share in addition to what Mr. Hernandez just said?
No, we have seen a spike in heroin addicts and alcohol right at about the time that the pandemic began. A lot of our clients have lost their jobs, and so a lot of the new ones, when they're being assessed, they're assessed under the influence. And so a lot of what their excuse is that, well, we don't have a job, I'm having a hard time doing this, I'm having a hard time doing that. And so they pick up theft charges here and there. And a lot of them are under the influence of heroin and alcohol. We do have several clients, female clients, that are alcohol and they've been taking a whole bunch of benzos.
I want to add on the female because the reason I know this is because for years I've been the supervisor to all the counselors. I do the supervision for the counselors in the drug court. I do it pro bono. I do the evaluation, but the reason I know about the females, every single female that has gone in that program has had adverse childhood experiences, including sexual abuse. Mm-hmm. They all have PTSD. In addition to that, some of them have some very severe personality disorders because of the traumas that they've had. And then on top of that, you have the substance use.
It's actually a lot harder to treat the females than the males. Our success rates on the females is not as high as it is on the males, and I think a lot of it does have to do with the trauma. And so they do receive intensive outpatient treatment, but it is a lot harder to deal with the females than it is with the males.
There's a lot of shame.
You also have a lot of other things involved, like CPS.
Yeah.
They've got children that they're trying to, get back in their homes, or they're just not stable enough to bring them in. And it's a lot. It's a lot for them.
Yeah, it's difficult. There's a lot of shame and guilt. I specialize in trauma. 60% of my cases are women that have been sexually abused. But if I work with them, sometimes I work with them for 2, maybe 3 years. Okay, and we have 12 to 18 months, and the focus, of course, we're dealing with both issues, but their focus is, I need to stop using drugs and alcohol so I can get my child back, so I can get out of court. And even though they're being shown skills to deal with their mental health, it's not this. It's intense, but there's other things. There's an EMDR training this month to treat people with PTSD, and I want to say that Emma is going to go to that training.
Yes.
So you're going to have a counselor, because the training, what we used to do with people with PTSD in the drug court, we used to do prolonged exposure therapy, but no one there anymore is trained except Gracie, and she's no longer there. So now this opportunity came up, and so you'll have a counselor trained to treat PTSD now, starting by the end of the month.
I do want to say though that a lot of the participants that are being sent out to treatment services or for detox, Charlie's Place always has a waiting list. So sometimes we're trying to get somebody in like next day and there isn't anything available. Sometimes they don't get them in maybe a week, 2 weeks, maybe even a month. It just depends on where they're at. And a lot of the times we ask for, it's not Charlie's Place anymore, but I refer to it as Charlie's Place. We ask that if they have the availability to keep them there for residential, to do it, because they're only there for 7 days, 7 to 10 days to detox. And a lot of the times they're released, they come back to Laredo and they're using again. Like detox is not enough. Like that week that they're in there is not enough. That they don't have the space to keep them there for a 30-day residential. So it is very important that we work as hard as we can to get that detox here in our community, because they need it and they're not getting it.
And that we have that transitional aftercare is very important.
It's very
as well.
common, and that's a problem we're gonna have. The detox is gonna be great, but unless we have the follow-up immediately, because Charlie's and other places will say, go home, call us every day, until we have a bed open, and it's almost impossible.
Yeah.
And
They're usually going back to an environment that's not safe.
And going back to why we, for those of you that weren't here when we had the meeting where the Vivitrol presentation was made, we discussed Vivitrol as a medication as they are finishing detox and transitioning to the next phase. Our clients can leave after they've been detoxed with a Vivitrol shot, which will give us 30-day coverage for the heroin addicts, and it will also help the alcoholics. So that is why I believe we voted on that day that we would use Vivitrol as one of our protocols for the doctors to use as they're getting out, because we don't want them to detox and then go out and die.
Yeah. Well, the good thing is that we're getting all these funding. SCAN has all this money,
Yeah.
and we provide all the different services.
Well, they have the infrastructure. They have the infrastructure.
Which is what I was gonna add right now, that for the transitional aftercare, that I think it should be a conversation that Manuelita has with those numbers that you just provided and that information. I think that's very important, but if Veronica, you have somebody you could recommend that's part of SCAN that could definitely, that just got awarded this awesome money, that is gonna be able to put that money into use so that when the detox goes up, that then there's the support from SCAN, and that we have that aftercare, because that's also going to be very critical. to making sure that our community members get back into what they need to.
Yeah.
So
One
if you have
last
a
thing.
recommendation.
That I do want to talk about is, for example, my population is different. We treat them if they're going through the system, if there is an active arrest, if they've been convicted, they're on probation. Those are the type of people that we service. We don't just service anybody in the community. They have to have a case pending with the DA and in the court. So the residential treatment facilities that we use are the state-funded facilities. It's the CRTCs, it's the SADFs, it's the ISFs. A lot of them are like jail-based, so they're on lockdown. But there are a lot of people in the community that don't have active cases, that cannot just go to these state-funded facilities, and so there aren't enough residential treatment centers at the disposal of those that don't have the means to pay for it. And so if it wasn't for those state facilities, we probably wouldn't have anywhere to send them to, because 99% of our clients are indigent. So if they don't have insurance, they won't qualify for Medicaid, and they don't have anywhere to go because they don't have the means to pay for it. So we'll detox them, but then where do we send them? And I know that there's Serenidad for males and for females, but we just had one male that we've been trying to get in, but there's a wait of about 8 weeks. So they need to go in there clean. We gotta use the jail. The jail doesn't want them because they're using, or they go in there under the influence, and then it's like a cell that they have to, set aside for our clients for 8 weeks. So it's like a love-hate relationship with the sheriff's office. So that's just something to keep in mind, and that's just one program.
And I do get calls from people that their kids or family members using, and like where do I refer them to? They don't have any money, they don't have anything.
We get a lot of calls too, and I mean, unfortunately, like we have some, I'm sorry, su hijo tiene que tener un cargo pendiente, tiene que tener un arresto, no lo podemos agarrar nada más así, and they're like, pues es que no sé qué más hacer con mi hijo. And so I'll provide them with scans, number, border region, pillar, and it's hard because you can't really force the individual to go, and they're getting younger.
And I think one of those, I think we have to go back to doing, maybe at our next meeting, we could probably just take the time to connect the dots with the resources that we have available and see where we're missing. Because if we bring up scenarios that you all have or that you've all experienced, then you could say, what did you do? Did you go to SCAN and were they not able to provide the service there? Did you have to go to Pillar? Did Pillar provide the service, or do they have the funding for it? Does it require money, or does it not require money, insurance or not, and that kind of thing? So those are critical observations that you're making, and that could be detrimental to somebody else. So we definitely want to be able to have these conversations, and maybe we could set that time aside next meeting to just connect the dots and say, look, this is what's going on, where do we go? So then SCAN, who has that funding, the likeliness is that they either put it in creation into their program, or that they create something that may be feasible to assist assist them.
And that's why I was wondering about the eligibility criteria, because when we send out clients to Dr. Garza-Ungra, there's obviously a criteria to be able to get that injectable naltrexone. And so if they have some sort of a condition, HIV, or I think it just depends on what their medical condition is, but they won't qualify for the Vivitrol. But if there's other resources that we can refer them out to, like if there's another type of an MAT program that they could qualify for, then obviously we funnel them through that program as well. So
I can let you know what I believe the funding is for. It's to develop counseling. They're going to have a behavioral health element, but they're also going to have a crisis team that goes out with the police department for mental health crisis. It's a great program. The grant came out last year, and so I believe that's what the funding for. So the crisis team goes out with the police, so they don't have to wait at the hospital for the protocol to happen from Border Region Community Health Center. And then what will happen is that they will have their own mental health counseling team for behavioral health with a doctor connected, and Dr. Garza-Ungra is very good at working with co-occurring disorders, and of course, so that's what the funding is for. But again, and the reality is that at one point in time, I mean, I understand that we probably have funding for at least a year to start up, right? But SCAN has the capability of so many people to write grants there that they will be able to, I believe, help this endeavor out. I mean, there's many different ways, but I believe that's what the funding's for, right? For that, yeah, and that's a wonderful program because I believe it's for at least 2 years. And this weekend, I myself had a crisis call on Friday at about 9 o'clock, and a client had suicidal ideations. Parents are out of town, don't know what to do. They're afraid of the police go there, he'd get violent, something would happen. And so, you know, in the end, I did it the old-fashioned way, which is I did the welfare check because I knew he'd answer me and made sure he was not endangering himself or others. But that would be crucial once your program's up and running. That's going to help the police a lot, and it's going to take away from the time that they spend in the hospital. That's a wonderful program.
I mean, there's a lot of great information. I think we really need to buckle down to doing and coordinating that conversation, and you all have that knowledge. So definitely make sure that you all join us for the next meeting so that you have this conversation. I want to make one more, or actually 2 more announcements before we end. West Care is having a 2021 community talk, and it's happening between 6 and 8 online on October 27th and October 28th, and it is in conjunction with the Red Ribbon Week. And so I just wanted to share that with you. I hope to be able to send something so that you all are able to pass along. But also very important, December of 2020, we lost Ms. Quintanilla, and she had been a pivotal individual for our organization, for Laredo Crime Stoppers, and also for our Drug and Alcohol Commission. And so they had brought it up to City Council to name the building that Laredo Crime Stoppers is currently housed in, which is a substation on Springfield and Ryan, after her. And so we are going to be doing the building ceremony next week on Friday, October 15th at 10 a.m. At 320 East Ryan, and it is going to be dedicated to Ms. Quintanilla on her birthday. It is going to be the Estela Quintanilla Crime Prevention Center. So I will send out that invitation to you all to hopefully have your presence and some of your supervisors, your bosses, and your leaders that will be able to be present. But I'll send that out. I will be leaving out of town on Friday and won't be coming back till Wednesday. I will be presenting at the Texas State Conference, and there's an award ceremony that day too, and they would have given, and it is so sad, they would have given Ms. Quintanilla last October 2020 before she passed her Lifetime Achievement Award. Her Lifetime Achievement Award, or a Lifetime Achievement Award with Texas Crime Stoppers, would have been where you had been with the organization for over 15 years, and for you to be considered to receive that high honor. So October 2020, she would have been able to receive that award, so she's not going to be able to be present. So I'm humbled to actually receive that for her and for her family. So we'll be coming back with that award. That's a prestigious award and with the Office of the Governor. So just wanted to kind of mention that and invite you all to join us on October 15th. It's going to be something, you know, nice that we hope to be able to honor her and recognize her for all her efforts that she's done in the community.
I'll be thinking of you all, but I'm involved in that EMDR training that I set up. It's going to be a 48-hour training, so I won't be there, but certainly my thoughts are with her. Wonderful, wonderful woman.
Thank you.
You know, my thoughts will be with her. Just one more thought, because as we've been talking, I have been texting with Arturo and Danny, and the Detox Residential Committee, Prevention, Intervention, and Treatment. What were the other two?
The aftercare and transitional was one of the last ones, the mental health support, the intervention.
Prevention, outreach, education.
Yeah, intervention, prevention, outreach, and education.
So how many work groups are there?
There's a total of 5 work groups, yeah. But kind of revisiting, I think we're gonna have to do like 3 and put mental health and the detox facility into one, and maybe the aftercare, because that one follows. And then the crime prevention intervention is one, and then the other one would be, and I close my computer.
Awareness.
The other one.
outreach education on missing children.
It's not awareness?
No, the intervention and the treatment and rehabilitation.
And there's aftercare, and then the traditional mental health.
Yeah, can we get them in the list?
Yeah, these are the
That's why.
So we'll collaborate, we'll actually combine those 5 groups into 3 groups, and I think it would make a little more sense to do the prevention, outreach, education as one, and then the intervention, treatment, rehabilitation as a separate one, and then the detox, mental health, and transitional and aftercare all together. Because it follows, it's gonna have that, it's gonna trickle down to that. So that way we don't spread out too thinly, but we discuss it and we're cohesive as to what we're discussing. But we'll send that update, that way you all can say, I'll be a part of this, I'll be a part of this and this, and then we'll set up meetings and then, just talk about what we can put out there into the community. Are there any other announcements before we close?
Just real quick, Nancy and Anna and Jesse will remember, we were working on a link on the city website for all the agencies. It's a one-click with all of the
Yeah.
services and the surrounding areas. Maybe we can start looking at that again.
Now that you mentioned that, we had a volunteer, services meeting, I think it was like last week, and Miss Elsa called, Miss Elsa Gindigi, and I think she wants to come back, but she's just waiting on her grandbaby to go to daycare. But she was saying that, if Border Region had any services that they could bring over to that, list, that, so we could, like, get with them and put them on that list.
Well, I think that's something that, cause that list originally came in from the Webb County Community Coalition. Veronica, when do you update that one?
We haven't updated it since
Before COVID?
Before COVID, yeah.
Is that, do you all have plans to do that?
We can, yes, definitely.
Because-
No, it's because of some numbers change, some, yeah.
Some service providers,
Sí, ya no
you know,
están,
are out of
yeah.
business or,
Definitely.
but that might be just something that to consider in the next.
But I
couple
think,
of months.
didn't they have one here also?
Well, that, we did have one, and we do
Okay.
have it on our website. Yeah, we do have it on our website. Our website, Mr. Aisba at that point, he went back and he looked over the phone numbers and the information that was there, that was provided originally from them. There was TAMU students that worked on it, so they did that, but again, that might be something that we
Yeah,
consider
that's
to bring
something.
back again. If there's no other comments or announcements, it is 12:40 and I call this meeting to order. Do I have a first to? Motion to adjourn. To adjourn, thank you, Mara. Do you have a second? Also. Second by Ms. Nancy. All in favor of adjourning the meeting? Aye. All right, thank you.
That's fine, is it okay?